Welcome. Welcome to Soul Conversations with Sandra, the podcast, where we are going to be welcoming in Roger Bentley, right? And I'm sorry, not Bentley, Burnley. Oof, caught myself, right? Roger Burnley. He is a coach. He channels Wilhelm, Ascend Beyond Limits. And I'm going to say, when I first started seeing his posts like fly through my page, it was like I knew him. So let's find out why. So let's see. Here he comes. Let's view the request. Let's go. Let's go. I'm so excited, and I really am. I'm so excited, and I know it's because my higher being knows his higher being. So let's give it a moment. Let's see if it's working. Let's see. Let's try that again. You know, we're just going to be patient, right? I'm so excited. I mean, the energy is a moving. So Roger Burnley, come on through. Let me know. Did it accept it? Let me know. Give me a comment. Tell me if we have to start over again. You know, over is no problem. So he channels through Wilhelm, and Wilhelm shares inner guidance and connection. And it says he was unable to join. So let's see if we can go up here. Oh, I think he has to come back in. So he's going to try to come back in because I don't see him in there, but let's see what's happening. Hi, Casey. How is everyone going or doing or being? I can't hear because I'm working. Just wanted to say hi. Thank you so much. So we're going to be patient, right? Okay, it looks like, let's see. Why is it telling me you're not in here when you are? Let's see who's requesting. Okay, so I've accepted your request, Roger. Let me know. And Tayyab, I am not accepting your request right now because this is a podcast and I'm waiting for my guest to come in, and we're trying to figure out what's going on, what the problem is. So if you could do me a favor, if you could just be patient, Ruby. I'm working from home, but I'm screen recording so I won't miss anything. Well, let's hope we don't have to miss anything because I am patiently awaiting my guest. Let's see if he's gonna come back in. It's saying that he's not here, but it keeps telling me that he's unable to join. Let me send him let me send him a message. Hold on just a second. Okay. So I sent him a message. Let's see what happens. Let's everybody hold some space for Roger, for Wilhelm. Let's open ourselves to Roger coming in. Yes, yes, and yes. I am open. I am ready. I'm willing to do this podcast with Roger. Roger Burnley, coach, channeler of Wilhelm. My settings are messed up. Okay, well, you know what? We will wait until you can figure it out. Take your time, Roger. Take your time. We're here. Anyone have any questions for me? This is your perfect opportunity to have a question, to ask a question. As long as it doesn't, as long as you're not asking too personal a question, which I'll let you know if you are or not. You know. Um, Hello, Roosevelt. Hi, I am. I. Oh no. Hi, Inna Maria Shaito Shigono. Oh, that's interesting. Hi, Sherilyn. Welcome in. And if you want to tell me what settings you're trying to figure out, Roger, I believe, are you following me? Okay, hold on. Roger sent a request to be in your live. Okay, so view the request. So I'm going to view it. Go live with Roger Burnley. I'm going to say yes. And we're going to wait patiently because my magic vibrational energy is saying, yes, come in, come in, come to us, come to us. We are open. We are open. We are open. We are open. It says you're invited. So let's see what's going on. Who knows? It might be an Instagram thing. It might not be us. It might not be him. It might just be, I do believe that Instagram did have an update. I saw it happen while I was closing my phone. I saw it happen, so I had to wait to close my phone after it updated, and then I, closed my phone, and because that's how I do it. It says unable to join. Hold on. Let's see. Let's try. Let's try it again. No, it says unable to join. You might want to check to see if you're following me, and under your three dots on my page that you don't have me restricted in somehow. Okay, he's going to restart his phone. So everybody who's in here, do you have a question for me? Perfect time to have a question. Perfect time for us to have a conversation. Let Roger restart his phone. Sometimes I have to do that. I'm telling you, So anyway, let's talk a little bit about, while he's restarting his phone, about prosperity, plenitude, and infinite possibilities, right? Let's talk about that a little bit, right? I mean, the first time that I ever really tapped in to understanding plenitude. Now, I understood the infinite possibilities. I've understood that. Even my Baptist upbringing shared that with me. That shared the ask, believe, receive part of that. My mother was very fluent in bringing that into the awareness of our little, as we were children, going to Bible school and Bible study. Not Bible school, we went to regular schools, public schools, but when we would go to Bible study or Bible school during the summer, if we didn't have to go to summer school, we would do that for a couple of hours during the day to break up just playing all day, right? And we learned the ask, if you ask it and you just believe it, that you're going to receive it. And as kids, it was very easy to do, because when you have a parent or uh, a person that's raising you, helping you, or letting you know that you can believe in these things. And if you believe enough, you didn't know that you were putting power behind it, that you could get the things that you want. But here's the thing that really brought it home for me, is that belief is just the beginning of it. And it's the start of embodying it. Because as kids, we would, ride our old bikes and pretend our old bikes were new bikes, right? We'd ride past and I grew up in the early, late, middle and late 60s. I grew up. By 75, I was graduating high school. So I grew up in the 60s, where there were still small stores that you could, be on your bike and move by, and you still see the bikes in the store windows, or you still see all of that. And you could make believe, and you could go into the store and they'd just have rows of bicycles, and you could just sit on them and sit for hours. Nobody was kicking you out the store or telling you to get off the product. And we would talk about all the places that we would go to on our bike, right? Even if it was just in the neighborhood, even if it was just going on the school grounds and riding on the playground, we would pretend we were riding on new bikes. And that energy as a child would get us, not all of us would get a new bike on Christmas, but some of us would have a new bike, or some of us would have whatever the embodiment of was of what we wanted happening. And we just thought, but most people would call it, oh, you're just lucky, or your mommy and daddy are rich or whatnot. But that was energy, right? And hold on a second. Roger is restarting his phone. At least I thought he was. It still shows that he's watching. So, we're going to wait. We're going to be patient. And hopefully him restarting his phone will allow him to be able to come in and join us for this podcast, right? And because at some time it is meant to happen. I know it's meant to happen. I know this higher being. I know this ancient one, right? I just know. I know we're meant to talk, and he's saying he's here. So let me go up, and I'm gonna wait till he requests. Um, uh, Roger, why don't you go into the camera plus and request to come on that way, and I will let you in. So let's get this party started, or this conversation started. But we are, as I was reading today, we are here on purpose with a purpose. Whatever your purpose is, whatever your dream is, do it with fervor. Embody it. Even if other people just don't believe that you can make it happen, if you believe, that's all that matters. And belief is a start. And as you believe and you open up and you expand, your belief becomes okay. You've sent the request. All right. So let's see. I'm going to go up here. It's not going to. Well, let's give it a minute. Let's not say what it's not doing. Hi, Peter. We are trying to get Roger in, and Okay. I accept it. And let's see what happens.
Yeah. Oh
There we
my
go.
gosh. I am so sorry.
Nothing to be sorry about.
It was, and it was resetting my phone. I have no idea why it wasn't coming. Something, you're right. Something was. Ah, thank you so much. How are
Oh,
you?
I am fine. I am fine. I was just explaining to them how the divine found you or
You
connected us, right?
and you. If I could tell you how many people have said that to me, and you know why they say it? Because I'm not hiding out so much, and people will have a memory. Oh, we know who you are. And we are
Yes,
all in the process of remembering who we are
we
now.
are.
That's
Yes,
exactly
we
what's going
all
on.
are. It's wonderful. Forgive me. Um, I'm excited because now I've always when I started connecting with actually asking to hear my soul speak through me.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
it was because I had heard Abraham speak through, right?
Through
And
Esther. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
Esther, and I always said, well, I know if she can do that, my soul can do that
Right.
through me.
Right.
And I said, I'm open,
Yes.
right? And in one of my meditational baths, I heard a voice come through. I felt my mouth moving. I felt the vibration, but it still took me to look around and go, "Who's that?"
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
And then I just went. All I said was, "Oh," and I just sat back and I just listened,
Hmm.
and it sounded like talking through water,
Hmm.
right? And then not too long after that, I say maybe a couple of months, maybe whatnot, I was on somebody's live and I was listening to them. I had always heard on Instagram, it was the first time I heard what was called light language, and it always sounded to me like people like elfish language
Hmm.
or like fairy language, right? I never really thought much about it. I would listen to it. And then I was on someone's live who was an activator of light language. At least that's the way I believe it happened. And that's when my light language came through. But
Hmm.
it didn't sound like anything I had heard before.
Perfect.
So I thought it was my ego. I thought it was my ego saying, "Ah ha ha, I'm playing with you. You think you got it. You think you went there, right?" And not too long after that same person that I believe had the
All
activation,
right.
I was on their page again, and they were encouraging. And then there was another young lady that came on,
Hmm.
and the divine said, all I heard was the divine saying vibrationally, "Listen to her."
Hmm.
And then it was like me talking in a mirror to me,
Hmm.
and I went, "Oh, I get it."
Well, I'll tell you. Well, you're such a leader because see, you have more than you have ever known, and for you to come out and do what you've been doing is just such an inspiration, and you're doing it at the right time in our world as we're moving through this huge global transition. And I would have never come out unless that was happening. I would have never been talking about it. And when people find me, it's like because I've just been pulled out to say, wait a minute, we've got to do a little bit more now. It's so perfect that we're talking today, because today is a really energetic movement in the world astrologically. There's many different things happening, and I'm doing a presentation later in a few hours where I'm just going to start speaking about my experience because I'm also a week from today I'm going to Colorado to shoot an episode of Beyond Belief with George Nuri
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to tell the full story because I want to bring more awareness. And I called myself the reluctant mystic for so long because what I went through in my life made absolutely no sense. And I want people to understand that we are never limited, and we can our paths can unfold in ways that we may not expect or understand, especially now when we're looking at all the things that are going on energy wise and what have happened over the last several years. It was just all part of the plan,
Right.
and we just have to get on board with it. That's what's going on now.
Yeah. Yes. So now that you've told me you're going to be doing something later, which is going to expound on
Yeah.
your whole expression, or what I call the expression in the experience,
Hmm.
right? Can you give us? Normally, I would ask people about their
Oh,
awakening.
yeah, no, I'm going to go there because
Okay.
everybody will understand I'm completely transparent,
Okay.
and I tell people everything and I want people to understand I'm 73 years old now, and keep telling people I just found myself because I want people to understand it's an ongoing process,
Right.
and that is our ascension or evolution or whatever. And in 1988. So when you said you started hearing things when you did, well, you were much braver than I was because it freaked me out. In 1988, I started to do automatic writing. Now, I had been meditating and doing other things, but I never thought about doing this. Like you said, I had seen channelers and people like this, but I said, I don't know if that's me. But it was something that drew me to it my entire life. But in 1988, I was making another huge transition in my life. I'm freaked out. I don't know what I'm doing. I need some help. And
Right.
so I sit and I just happened to read an article about this guy who was doing automatic writing. I had never really thought about that before, and I didn't really know what it was actually. And so I sit and he gave me instructions, sit and meditate and have pen and paper and see what happens.
Ah.
And the first few days, nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to hear something. I go, oh crap, what went on? And I start writing. And it frightened me. I said, oh, wow. I said, who's speaking to me? And I heard very clearly, this is another part of you. It's your higher self. But if that makes you uncomfortable, you can call us whatever you like. And then the name Wilhelm came out, which also made no sense because I'm not German. Where'd that name come from?
Right.
why,
Right.
why am
Right.
I saying that?
Right.
And it took 30 years for me to figure that one out, for it to be revealed to me. That's what it was, because we are having information revealed to us as we move through our lives because it's in our consciousness. And it'll just show up for us at the right time in our lives if we're willing to hear it and see it.
Right.
Well, I will be quite honest, I ran from it for the longest time.
Right.
And I kept doing it. I wrote every single day. My meditation and doing writing every day, but I was never going to show it to you. 20 years I attempted to hide it, Sandra.
Okay.
I wrote it all down. I have this cabinet, and then everything else that I was moving through in my life during that time as well. Some challenging, horrible, difficult things. But this information somehow was causing me to heal, to do things that I didn't understand. It didn't change anything because I went through so much. But that's the thing that I want others to understand. You can achieve and accomplish anything. That's why the post that you made was so brilliant, just to talk about this talk, because that's what I want people to understand.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm doing Beyond Belief, because we will have limitations. I've had medical things that I've healed that that's impossible. It is not.
Right.
There's so many. And so that's why I was just writing something last night. I hide out because I'm a little introverted. I don't talk about it. But I'm like,
Mhm.
that's a disservice because I want others to understand what we can accomplish, and especially in our world right now,
Right.
because we're going to move through the rest of this year, we're going to still keep moving through these dramatic changes, galactic changes, and it affects us emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of that. But
Right.
if we decide to roll with it, so to speak, or understand it, we not only heal our lives, our soul's journey, but then we also add that to our world, to the collective, which is what we're all really meant to do. So that's why I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing. Because I look at people like you and I go, wow, she was much more brave than I was at some
Right.
times. That's how it feels.
Right. Well, what I have to do is I have to give credit where credit's due. That's for my mother.
Mm,
I truly believe that my mother was sent as my spiritual being to guide
yes.
me,
Yeah.
because I do believe that I was put here on purpose for a spiritual reason, a
Hmm.
spiritual outpouring,
Yes.
right? And my mother was, for the 30 years of my life, the one that allowed my throat chakra to be
Hmm.
active, to say
Right.
yes to new and different
Hmm.
things, to go, well, what if,
Hmm.
right? She
Yes.
was always the kind of mother that I would say, we would go, Mommy, can we? And my mother would go, well, yeah, you can, but, oh, Mommy, may we?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, you know, that
Yes. Yes.
that kind of thing. You know, for the first 30 years of my life, she gave me that vibrational openness to my throat chakra,
Hmm.
and helped me develop the openness of my heart chakra as well. You know, kind of thing. So I was brave and bold more. I was brave and bold more spiritually than I was
Right.
physically,
Right. Okay.
in the
Yeah.
physical form,
But see,
as the physical little
you
girl.
said something else so important. I want people to get what you said about your mother. See, because sometimes it takes a while for us to recognize the gifts that we've received from our parents. And I'm saying this in a way that some people will say, no, I hated my mother and my father, all of that. And you said, no, you didn't, because that relationship was sacred. And whatever they presented to you was to help you evolve and grow. And when you can notice it, it becomes that much greater. So for you to notice and talk about what you received from your mother is so brilliant. It took me a long time before I could recognize, oh, my mother was really in my corner. Oh, she was really there. She just may not have been able to express it in a certain way, but then we come to realize that. I do a thing in some of my work. I have some of my clients get upset with this one, but I say, I have them do an exercise called How to Have a Happy Childhood. And they'll say, no,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It was horrible. I go, no, it wasn't. You just haven't understood your life path yet. You just haven't understood your journey, because everything you were given there were some gems there for you to find that would allow you to evolve and become who you're meant to be, if you stop judging it and thinking it was terrible and find the benefit. That's what we're meant to do as we keep that is the ascension process.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when I read the book, it's called The Divine Design by Lori Ladd.
Hmm.
And when it introduced the the uh, the divine consciousness's uh, experiment of
Hmm.
wanting to go from formless into doing what she did
Hmm.
in formless, in form,
Hmm.
and invited all the other higher beings from every realm, everywhere, and
Hmm.
nowhere at all at the same
Right.
time. Then I finally I understood the path that my higher being had set in motion. And
Yes.
my mother's higher being, the higher being that was my mother, and the higher being that was my father, and my grandfather and grandmother and great grandfather and great grandmother, and all the ancients before them.
Hmm.
They did this, all of this,
Hmm.
and dropped a little DNA in each of
Right.
our for our life path until it got to me.
Yes.
And then, what a special thing to have my mother as my guardian guide in physical form, not
Mm-hmm.
just she's in formless now,
Right.
but she's on my right hand all the
Exactly.
time. My grandmother is right there. I feel them
Yeah.
holding me. I feel them even push me sometimes where my feet aren't even walking on the ground. Like, come on, Sandy,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Pick up the pace. You're okay.
Right.
That kind of thing. And it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It made it's kind of like I already knew
Mm-hmm.
that. When I was reading the words, it was like, ooh, I already knew that.
But then you
That
got
kind of thing.
confirmation, that
Yeah.
feeling of confirmation. I had that. Speaking of my mother, when she was passing, she was ill. She had cancer, and then she started to get dementia and all of that. And so at the end of her life, things were foggy. But she would, I do my Wilhelm, my channel. I write my messages every day, and so she would start printing them out. And I go, why is she printing them out? And then I'd come to the house and I'm thinking, well, it's just her dementia that's doing this. No, she was saying, these are helping me so much.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's at the end of her life and she's reading the messages and there's something in them that was helping her. And I thought, well, it's just my mother. She's just saying that. Do you know how we kind of push things away? And
Yeah.
it wasn't. She understood. And then after she passed, the craziest story to show what you were just saying, how we feel them all the time. They're not gone. We're spirit and we're always here, just in a different form. And so we were getting ready for her funeral. And I have three brothers, and so I said we should all decide what she's going to wear because she wanted to be in a casket and all that. And so I kind of knew what the dress was that she should wear, but I said let's all make this decision together. But I just really knew what it was, and we all made the decision. We picked this blue dress because I knew that's what she would have wanted. We're getting ready for that was a few days. Then we're getting ready for the funeral. I'm running around the house looking for something. I needed cufflinks. I go into her bedroom because I'm staying at their house at this time. And I go into her cabin in her closet. There's a Tiffany box sitting there, standing up, Sandra. And I'm looking at it. That's weird. I open it, and in there, written very clearly, jewels for the blue dress.
See, all I have to do is all I can say is ashe. All I can say is, let it be
Yeah.
so, right? And absolutely. It's like, so here's a question. While you were at the beginnings of Wilhelm,
Mm-hmm.
how were you and your family, what's the adjusting to Wilhelm?
They didn't. I didn't tell them.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
didn't.
talk to I didn't talk to them about it because it was so different than what they were doing. And then I didn't want to have judgment of what I'm saying, what I'm doing. So I'll tell you, the first 20 years, there were very few people that knew what I was doing. I started in 1988, and I'm receiving this information that's guiding me in ways I can't even tell you. It told me how to perform. I was singing, I was performing, doing a lot of shows at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and I would sit down and write something and I would get information about why my performances weren't going so well, why I wasn't connecting to myself and I wasn't considering my audience. There were so many things that came through and it was just like and I just kept going with it, but I wasn't, again, still not telling people what was happening. I built a business because I was receiving information. Now I went through a whole bunch of horrible stuff as well,
Mm-hmm.
but then I healed, and it all kept coming through this. So I didn't tell anyone until about 2008, I think, or 2009. Someone found the messages. So it's been 20 years already, but somebody found a message on my desk and they said, wow, this really helped me. Where'd it come from? So I had to tell them. And they asked me to start. Oh, I said I do it every day. So they asked me to start sending them to them, which I did. But I wasn't going to put it out there. I wasn't going to create a website. I wasn't going to do any of that. I never placed myself in the spiritual community or any of that kind of stuff. Because I just didn't. And the only thing I did was I did go to, did the Course in Miracles. I did do that, and I would go to some lectures and all that. But that was pretty much it. And then in 2008, or 9 when they started. Then someone published the website, and then any advice for today. But still, I never thought it was going to turn into any more than that.
Oh,
And
okay.
then in 2019, I'm getting moved again. So I wrote a book. I said, I have to tell people about this.
Right.
So I wrote a book called Overcoming Fear, A Guide to Freedom, because I had been afraid my entire life, from the time I was born. And not get what something my mother knew. But anyway, but I had moved through so much of it, and it was because of this work. And so I said, I got to write this book. But still, I needed help with that. So I had my friend Cam who edited and put it together. But I needed to get that out. But then I
Mhm.
also knew that we would be moving through a period where people would be a little afraid because we're having a big dramatic change in the world. And when we're doing that, that's an ascension that the world is moving through. Our individual ascension, meaning moving to these unknown parts of ourselves, can be really uncomfortable. So, but the story gets crazier from there, Sandra, because I still
Okay.
didn't know what I had done until 2021. We had gone through the pandemic. We were doing all of that. 2021, I hear very clearly, oh, we gave you everything you needed to know in 2012. Made no sense to me when I heard those words. And I come into my house, and then I go to my computer and I find a folder that I'd not looked at that was on my computer. And I open up these Wilhelm messages from 2012. So many of them.
And 20
And then I started,
it's a excuse me for interrupting.
you got it.
2012 was
Yes,
the shift of Earth.
the Mayan, the Mayan calendar.
Yeah,
And
it was,
I would,
and the shift did happen,
yes,
even though people didn't see it physically.
yes,
Earth
yes,
shifted, right?
yes,
Earth
exactly.
consciousness shifted.
And and this is what happened. I had no idea because I'm when I'm receiving information, I'm in a different dimension. I don't, and I'm not relating it to what's going on. I'm just getting
Mhm.
guidance. And so when I first discovered this, and I think I was in a Facebook group or something, I was talking about it, and I'm just laughing and carrying on. And one person looked at me and says, Roger, don't you know that's when the Mayan calendar ended? I go, oh yeah, now I remember that. And then 2012, and then on December 21st, people thought the world was going to end. And
Right.
so they start getting rid of stuff, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. So then I went to look to see what message did I receive on December 21st of 2012. And it said, wait. Just the title of it was wait. And it says, world wasn't ending. You're building a new one. And that's up to you. Yeah, it's you're supposed to carry on now. Civilizations leave, but you're supposed to carry on. And I go, oh, and then and again, when I received the message back then, it had no relevance to me. But then they said, talked about the energy. This is what I wrote: the energy of the word wait. And when you think about, they said, when you think about you're not anxious, you're
Right.
patient. You're bringing in a different energy. You're allowing something different to come into your life when you're patient. And so this is what you're going to need to understand and use moving through this transition in your world. And
Right.
then they kept telling me, the reason we gave you that information because you will move through another one, and which is what's happening now. And it's happening mostly. The biggest part of it was going to happen in the United States. And I
Yes.
thought that was I was receiving that, and I thought, I don't know what that means. And I said, oh. Then they started explaining it about the Pluto return and the planets moving and changing and when the United States was formed. And so when we move through a personal ascension, we have to let go of all of our old stuff, all
Right.
of our judgments, all of our hatred, all of our anger, and all of that. So now think about when people aren't willing to do that, then we have what we're experiencing. And so now we have to decide. And they said, well, you're going to have to make a choice. That choice is going to be, are you going to love yourself, or are you going to go into fear? That's going to be, those are the only choices that we'll
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in uh I don't know, I believe, and this is what keeps getting shared with me, because I mean, I'm going to tell you, embodying is, I'm telling you, it's opening up so much for me now.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the more we flow, and I used to say fall in love with ourselves,
Yes.
but
No.
the more we flow
Yes.
into ourselves,
Yes.
right? The more we flow into love
Yes.
with ourselves, so much opens up, and a lot of the fear dissolves. A lot of the, like they say, you have medicine has a side effect. A lot of the side effects of fear
Mm-hmm.
start to disintegrate
Yes.
in the alchemization
Yes.
fire,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It starts to go away, and this growth, this new movement that we haven't seen in a long time. It's not that it hasn't happened. It's just that it hasn't been seen for such for what my divine had told me for uh what is the word that they used?
Eons.
No, it's not eons. We haven't seen it for uh
Generations.
Yes,
Well,
generation upon generation upon
exactly.
generation, and it's that far back. It's if we
Yes.
want to go back as far as the generation of the growth of plants and plant life on Earth, the animals that showed up later. If we want to go back to first man and first woman,
Mm-hmm.
this is where the flow of love stopped.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
started to be uh, uh, veiled by the form instead of the form and the
All right.
formless. And I went, oh, it's not that we've never seen it. I went,
Yes.
oh, okay, so we're flowing into loving ourselves again, and that's the movement of everything that's happening
Mm-hmm.
now. It's not really the it's not really the lesser polarities of what we think our governments are flowing in, or the what do you call it, the medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry. It's not their
Mm-hmm.
negative polarities. Yes, they got to choose
Mm-hmm.
that lower polarity because they had free
Mm-hmm.
will. They got to choose that. That's their expression.
Mm-hmm.
But the flow of love, the opening of our heart chakras, mending itself vibrationally,
Mm-hmm.
it's blowing up.
But
It's
you said, now what you said was this thing you said at the beginning. No, it is falling in love with yourself. That is what it is. That's what our ascension process is. If we think about this, when we come into physical form, we have all this old stuff we've been
Mhm.
carrying around. We inherit it. It comes in different ways because our DNAs are very different. But no matter who we are, and this is what Wilhelm has said to us, is that you're going to come to this period and you all come in as humans, but you have history, you have baggage, you have all of that. And if you're not willing to drop it, you don't ascend to where you're supposed to be. And
Right.
as you drop it, then you do start to love yourself more. And it doesn't happen overnight because our patterns have been so ingrained within us, in our consciousness and our ethnicities and our gender and whatever it might be. There's something that has been limited. And so when we let go of it, then we start to heal. And I had to I had to let go of a lot of it. But
Right.
when you do it, it's astonishing where you can end up and how you can heal. But what you also saying too, because I could feel it, that that process of embodying it or embracing it, each time, as it, because there's always more that's opening up. Sometimes
Right.
I just have to sit like I can't do anything right now because I'm
Yeah.
getting something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to keep up with the
Oh,
comments.
yes.
Snow, I think that's called Snowy underscore. She said, you resent my mom because she made I think she's speaking to you. She made me mentally ill. So you might have worked with her about her mom,
Eh,
maybe. I'm not sure.
yeah, I'm not sure if you could. Maybe she explain a little bit more.
Um, she corrects the word I. You, I. No, oh, I. I think I resent my mom. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to. I think there's maybe a verb that's meant. She
Hmm.
made me mentally ill. Well,
Okay, no. All right, no, okay, no, she didn't. You asked for her so that you know that you you asked to be in her experience so that you would know that you're not mentally ill. And that's the thing that you're going to move over in this lifetime because none of us are mentally ill. We just come in different. We have maybe have neurodiversity. We might be, but every person has worth and value no matter what form that is. So and this is the thing I want to talk about the parents because see I had that thing too where it was my father's fault that my life was screwed up, and that's what I thought because I let me go to therapy and figure all that out, and I went to go and tell him about it, and then he looked at me and he says, well, you had it better than most. And so in that instant he had nothing else to say, and in
mm-hmm,
that instant I had to recognize, oh, that means you gave me a foundation and I'm responsible for the rest of my life now.
mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
that's the part that we have to work through. They didn't do it to us. It's but if we can find the gift of whatever that experience we had with them, then we become more whole, and that's what we want.
Right,
Oh,
right. Yes. So
you're
I
gonna
hope
ask
that
it to
helps
say
you, Snowy. Um,
her
yeah,
life was
and
worth.
let's see.
Yes,
God has said, she said no to something. I'm not sure
yes.
what she said no. And
And she
then she
said,
said, based on your topic,
right.
everybody has everybody, first off, everybody has a free will. Take what
Yeah,
resonates, leave what
yes,
doesn't. Your no can be no for you, and yes can be yes for
yes.
someone else. And growth and expansion occurs based on our belief and our perceptions. Our perceptions turn into beliefs. Our beliefs turn into truths. Our truths are what holds us in a pattern,
Mm,
whatever that pattern is. And you get to be the one that decides if it's for your highest and greatest good. I truly believe that we are body, mind, and soul.
mm-hmm,
And we have the opportunity, if we want, to stay solely in body
mm-hmm.
and deal with our life from the view of our body, and move in that process until there's something that rocks our world to give us a new view.
Yeah, she said
So,
she agreed with what we said. Yeah,
okay.
she's agreed. Yeah, and so when it's sometimes really challenging for us to accept our individual journey. Let me just say it. I think it's because they're going to be different. None of us have the same upbringing or lives that we've lived, and we're going to have different experiences, and we can't compare ourselves to anyone else. We have to say, okay, what is my journey? Because I know I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm a valuable person. So what is that? That's what we're
Right.
asking.
Thank you, priestess portion. Like I said, guys, my point of view is my point of view. It comes from the
Mm,
divine through and for me, but it's for those who are ready for it. And then some people won't be ready for it.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
and 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 I can't say you should be
Hmm.
or you better or that kind of thing. And goddess, yes, my uh comments started scrolling again, so I'm catching up
Okay.
with everything you know
And yes, and what you said, not everyone, and we need to understand that during this period. This is what Wilhelm has given me so much. We have duality in everything. We have duality within ourselves, and we have it in the world. And so we're going to see so many people that we're not going to agree with. They're not going to agree with us. But that's when we have to say, okay, what is my truth? How am I going to find my truth and own that and allow others to do whatever they feel is for their journey? But the more of us who can choose the truth within us that's of a higher vibration, we're putting a very different energy into the world, and we will see different results in ourselves and also in the world. And that's what I want people to come to understand, because we need it.
Yes, we definitely, we need, I believe, see, I'm not going to say we should or we shouldn't. I believe that the more you sit at the seat of your soul, at the seat of your higher being, and ask yourself embodying questions about you and your journey here, that includes your path, that includes your path, who you are as a higher being, who you are as a physical being, who you are as a mental being, as a and then it made me feel so good when I figured out what triune really meant, because I grew up in the Baptist background, which meant triune is divine God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit or Holy Ghost. It was so outside of me.
Right.
And then I realized that once I realized that I was triune, that I was the divine God moving in, through, and as me through this physical body, number two, and then had a conscious mind, number three, that the divine gave me, even though my ego was it was part of my mind, but it was so offset from when it was created. And of course, reading the divine design helped me understand my ego a little more. I knew a little bit of it, but I was trying to figure out how to do the ego death. And I didn't understand why I was so complexed by it. Like going, okay, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I know how come I feel that's not going to work? What's missing? Because there was that piece that was missing there.
Right.
And when I read the divine design, that gave me that little missing nugget, when, oh, my ego isn't my best friend. It's not my enemy. It needs to be retrained. It's energy that's within me, running a program, and I'm the one that has to give it the update.
So let me tell you what I'm giving another little thing about the ego. And this was so crazy when it started coming through, but it made sense. And they said, we would like for you to think about your ego in a different way. Because that ego is something that you have created that is outside of the real you. And so you will use it in different ways. This was so bizarre. It said some people will have their ego keep them small, because it feels like it keeps them safe. If they don't show themselves, if they don't own who they are, then they feel like they're safe. Their lives won't progress, but they'll feel like they're safe. And then there are other people who feel so insecure and can't hold anything, so they're going to project what looks to others like to be this massive ego of who they are and how powerful, when underneath they're feeling really small. And so we're always trying to find a balance within ourselves, so that we're not hiding out all the time and we can own more of who we are, or that we're not pretending to be more than others, and that which keeps this whole sense of duality going in our world. So it was just, and I said, well, my ego was keeping me small for a lot of times, so I understand now.
I think actually, when I go and think back to my mother, my mother was being the update for my ego. Right. And then at 30, it changed because my mother passed away. And, and I stayed in foreign body, missing her so much. I mean, I was either missing her a lot and raising my kids. I was a single mom, missing her a lot, raising my kids, Also at about 40-ish, I think somewhere about 40-ish, I think about 2003, when The Secret came out, and my teenage son had got a copy of it, and he said, oh, mom, you've got to really listen to this, right? He gave it to me around November. And he said, you got to listen to this. You and my daughter, you and Aaron have to listen to this. And we took it, and I thought it was just music. So I put it on a shelf, and I said, okay, I'll listen to it later, right? And I was going through some other things. I was going through radiation treatments. I was going through just different things, and or about to go through that. That's actually what it was. I was talking to doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my daughter, we said, ooh, we got to listen to that DVD, DVD that he
Mm-hmm.
gave us. So I put it into my computer because it was coming on Christmas time. Family was going to get together and we knew he was going to ask us about it. But when he handed it to me, he says, Mom, you'll never guess. This is just like something you're always saying to us. And what I would always say would be something my mother would always say,
Mm-hmm.
which is call those things that be not
Mm-hmm.
as though they already are.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, this is just like you saying to us, call those things that be not just like they already are. Right. And I said, oh, okay. So I don't know why I thought it was music. I thought it was a song because he was into writing lyrics and rapping and doing that kind of thing. So when we put it in, everything within me
Mm-hmm.
shifted. I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Even my daughter was looking at me going, Mom, did you just feel something? And I said, I don't know what it is. I can't explain it to you, but things are changing. And it was
That's
only
what
about the law
happens.
of attraction. It was about how to move energy, and it was very, when you think about it, it was telling you to think positively instead of
Mm-hmm.
negatively and that whole kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I had to start going through radiation treatments and how I listened to people explain things to me, how I was shifting the energy of the words,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of how I heard the words, and also bringing into my full view people that were what my mother said, that the divine will give you favor
Right.
in the eyes of
Oops.
those who need to work in, to work in your favor.
Can you hang
Not
on?
only will you have
One
favor,
second.
uh-huh.
Oops, sorry. One
Mm-hmm.
second.
Okay. I'm not sure if the comments stopped again. The last
Okay.
thing I see
Yeah, I'm
is
gonna have to
Snowy
run in
saying
a
a
second.
couple of things to
But
Goddess.
this is so great. I that was so great that you said that. I'm gonna have to go, but I want to just end with this. You That was just showing up on your path at the right time, and sometimes we don't even know that we've been given. You're being shown that you are protected, and you're and coming through your son giving you something like that. I
Right.
had a similar experience from my nephew. Gave me something, a book. I put it away, probably didn't even look at it for 20 years because it wasn't time yet, and then it showed up. I go, oh, now I understand why I have that. That's exactly what happened for you. And that's just showing us that we always are protected and we have guidance. And then we start to notice it. And that's what you did.
Yeah. I and now thinking about it, actually expressing it to you in verbiage, I
Mm-hmm.
felt that shift.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, when I pulled out the book from my nephew gave me, and I'd forgotten about it. He said I gave it to you, and I go, no. I had to go find it in my bookcase. I opened it up and I broke into tears because of the recognition, the shift, oh yeah, now that makes sense. So we're always uncovering more in our consciousness, which is what I want everyone to understand. So we're never done. We can do so much
Much
more.
more. Yes, we're never done. I mean, this live is a confirmation of so much more that I have to do. So
Yes.
much more that the divine has said, you're doing this.
Yes.
And I said to the divine, I am.
Yes.
And the divine said, oh, see, you just confirmed it, right?
That's perfect. This
You
is
know.
so great. We'll have to do more, and I don't know. And if you're able to come to the thing later, that would be great.
Uh-huh.
I'll put put. I think I posted it on my Instagram. It's on my page, so people can find it there. So it's just a little talk I'm going to do and
Okay.
answer questions, and so.
Okay.
But yeah, this is so great. Thank
Yes,
you.
you know what? I will have you come back. I know that we had so many
Yes.
things, so it took away like about maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yes.
So I will invite you back.
Perfect.
I'll
Thank you.
DM you with the
Yes.
information. All right.
Yes. Yeah, I loved it so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Great.
you
All right.
so much. Oh my
Okay.
God. Such wisdom and words.
Thank
Thank you so
you. All right.
much.
See you soon.
See you
Okay.
soon.
Much love. Okay.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye. All right. I hope that you have enjoyed that podcast. I hope that you have enjoyed Roger and his, we are, and his story, not his story, his life path. For so long he hid that, but at the right time, at the right moment, he revealed everything. And and like the book that I read today about your big dream, you can call it a dream, or you can call it life purpose, or you can call it whatever you want to call it. You can label it whatever you want to label it. You can fight people on what labels they're using, or you can just be open to the fact that they're having an expressed life, doing an expressed thing, and being that higher being that they are, being that form being that they are, and being that conscious mind that they are, and being in whatever polarity they are in. Because know this, that whatever lessons they're learning is for their highest and greatest good. We don't get to decide that. I know we should be judges of that, but ask yourself an embodying question. When I'm taking the time to judge others, is it because I don't want to make a discernment about myself? I don't want to be in that vibration of a vibrational question and answer with my higher being. It's only taking time to seek that. I did that uh, off and on, being in other people's business because I didn't want to deal with me, or allowing other people to project their expectations or their thought patterns onto me, because I didn't want to think about me and what I should be doing or what I could be doing, or attempting to even climb my dream. And I say climb it because I got a big one. My mother would always call me the big dreamer. I didn't get it until now. I just really didn't get that I could open my backpack and take out the climbing utensils and climb to the top of my dream. And then once I got there, go, yes. And then look over and go, whoo, that dream is much bigger, right? But I did spend a lot of time climbing with other people on their dream, sometimes judging them, sometimes not. But get this, for me, I never said the judgment out loud. I knew better. My mom said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I would have the thought. But guess what? Thoughts are actually verbiage inside. And the divine, or the higher being, or the law of attraction would vibrate in on it, listening in, taking that action, whatever action was being thoughts, turning into action, bringing something into form. So thank you very much for this podcast, for being part of this podcast, for asking that embodying question, for sharing your comments, for being here and supporting Soul Awakening with Sandra, for supporting Roger Burnley, the coach, and Wilhelm. Thank you very much for being part of the vibrational process of Soul Conversations with Sandra, the podcast. This will be in replay, and you will be able to find it in Soul Conversation. Not you'll. It's. Let me slow down. Soul Awakening with Sandra. You will find it under Soul Conversations with Sandra. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And for those who will be seeing it in replay, I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Thank you so much and have a blessed weekend. Peace. Hold on a second.